Welcome along, everybody, to Game 3 of the Luna League for FOF Week 1. Today we have this game, we have Fraud Squad against Team Asworth. Just rolling straight into the bans here. The aggressive Camille top lane. Just a lot of, honestly, just dive picks immediately out of Fraud Squad, just trying to get the Falcon off their back. See, just rolling out the Morgana. And just into first picks, just quick with these bans. They came in with a plan. Both these teams, they knew exactly what they were looking for, it seems. And see where this pick seems to lead us.
Fraud Squad, of course, is it's a new team to Season 4 of FOF. They have by far the best names in all of FOF, maybe history, by the way, with Gooch Master, In Out Your Mouth, and Raw Dog Ross. I mean, how can you not love this team's names, by the way?
Just some
first pick Rumble. Okay.
Some top tier names and going in with the top tier picks. Rumble presumably in that jungle pickup.
Rumble, of course, is a 3-way flex, by the way.
Yeah, no. Normally we'd see it out of the jungle, but yeah, no, absolutely can be put into the 3-way flex. We see how Asworth wants to respond to this. Immediately putting the priority on that Rumble, though. Not, honestly, it's the safest option if you're going to be putting it into a lane. Obviously, you can't take that flex, though, which is the nice part. We do see that Leona coming up for Ombo. And see if they can rotate into their second pick without giving too much away from their composition. I think Leona first like that is a little bit dangerous.
So, FS, of course, as it says, a new team, Fraud Squad. Team Ex-Girlfriend, as I gave them the moniker, and Team Asworth. Ironically enough, I think that these two teams badly need one thing that they both don't have, which is coaching. As we see the Samira-Leona lock-in.
Very aggressive bot lane.
Which for a very aggressive team. Team Asworth, again, is... I don't know if I can say this on stream, but they play one style. I've talked about in my power rankings if you want to see what I'm talking about. As they lock in the... Nautilus Vayne, interesting.
Nautilus Vayne. Now, so Vayne obviously wants to, it likes this lane for the simple reason that she has the range advantage. So she can get that harass down, get that poke hard, but the immediate engage and the lack of any way to get that Leona off, I think, could cause problems just for that laning phase. And you have to be worried as Fraud Squad, you have to be worried about that Samira starting to snowball and take over the game, as we do see the Sylas picked up on the R3, likely going to see those counters bound away now.
Alright, Sylas lock-in. Interesting, because Sylas... Dude, alright. So for the team that do not know about Team Asworth, by the way, they are the team that's going to play aggressive in your face. I'm going to push your shit in, or... Oh, I just cursed. I'm going to get canceled. Push your stuff in, or... God, that sounds so much worse. But push your stuff in, or they're just gonna end. They're one of those teams. They're just always aggressive. They don't have a stop button. They're always go. They always hit the green light. And Sylas is the green light champion. As you see, anyone that's played solo queue with the Sylas mid laner is always just gonna go like freaking 7-3 with like 50 CS at like 40 minutes. They don't know how to CS. I swear, Sylas players do not know how to CS.
A bit of a broken knuckles or broken teeth kind of style here from Asworth. It seems what they want to be drafting, taking away that Jarvan and the Lee Sin, looking to get away from those jungle bans. So they do not think that Rumble's going to be going into the jungle, it seems, if they're taking away. I mean, obviously Jarvan can go top lane. See 2 top lane bans out of Fraud Squad, and the pick up on the Kayn for the round 4. You'd expect something to play a little bit more aggressive, and I don't know what the goal is with that necessarily. I mean, personally, I would expect something out of the jungle to maybe start to initiate that green light, like you were saying, start to put some fuel on the fire, but Kayn generally takes a little bit to scale up. Those early ganks are not the most effective, and they did take away 2 of their most effective early gankers, however, the Malphite in the top lane, looking to neutralize the lane that isn't there yet.
I have a big question mark when it comes to the Kayn, because the Kayn in general either wants at least 3 melees for the red Kayn, or at least 2 marksman champions for the blue Kayn, and he only has 1 marksman champion in the Vayne. I don't even think Kayn is great in the Vayne, actually, as we're going to get the Trundle. Okay, so that's...
And we do have a lock-in issue on this current last pick. This last pickup is a Jace. It's going to be going into the top lane, the last slot that we haven't filled in, into that Malphite, presumably. I'm not expecting a Malphite mid. But we've seen surprising things in FOF before. Honestly, I like the consistency of this TAS team. I think that they have a team that they've put together that is very... like, other than that Kayn, which kind of feels like a hole, personally, I think that if they can play around the Kayn, kind of let it scale up, it's going to give them that opening in the mid game to just crush. Especially if that Samira gets ahead, that Vayne is going to be so dangerous in lane. I don't know. I like the TAS comp.
Alright, let's get right into the draft. My boy. What are we? By the way, are you betting right now? Are you?
Am I betting? I'm gonna, yeah. You know what? I will commit. I'm gonna say give those points over to TAS. I like obviously they're the proven team. I'd like to see some stuff out of Fraud Squad. I'd like to see them perform. Like to see them show up right now. That would be awesome. But you have to say you're playing against a team that was successful and a team that is so aggressive. And if you haven't found your gel yet and you don't feel comfortable yet, this is a team that's going to walk over you. This is a team that is going to just knock you down and just keep punching as they roll over into your base. We could run into problems.
Let's get right into this game right here. As, by the way, the secret voice in our head, not the schizophrenia voice, but
the other one.
My director, Chris, the other one, said he just put 10,000. Of course, he's the interviewer for games in general. Just said he's going to put 10,000 on TAS, which is, by the way, more than my entire wages for FFS times 10,000.
That is as far as we're going to get. But speaking of far in, we're going to see this early invade from TAS going into that bot brush, immediately scouted out by Raw Dog. Just the ward cleared. That is XP given over. Huge advantage over TAS in these first 40 seconds.
Ain't got that. You theoretically would actually prefer to get down the mid laner, but unfortunately, Hisme, who's back for TAS, by the way, Hisme wasn't fast enough to get that. I'll talk about Hisme in a second. But the mid laner, you want to get the ward kill in general because he will level up quicker than the other mid laner. If he can do that in time. And Hisme.
Does that give you it off the first wave?
He would get off the first wave if he kills the ward, yeah.
That's crazy. Really early advantage if you got it, but no.
So, my boy Hisme, as we're going to see an early trade by the Jace right here, which is actually really important. Jace is, of course, the lane dominant champion. Alright. My boy Hisme for TAS, by the way. TAS was a former Season 2 champion. Former Season 2 finalist. They lost to INT in the finals, unfortunately. But Hisme was the jungler for TAS at the time. He's had to step away because I believe he plays in Europe, and there's some issues with, like, him liking League and schooling and stuff like that. But I thought that he was actually the best person in all of TAS in Season 2. I thought his ulties in general, like his Gragas was really gross. I thought that he was really good. One of the best junglers in all of FOF in Season 2 is back, and he's currently playing mid lane right now. So I really need to see how they're going to do. I talked to TAS. Of course, they're all a Vietnamese-speaking team, so I'm not the best at conversing with them. But they told me how important Yoni was. Oh wait, I just messed up. Wait, I meant Yoni. Holy crap. Sorry, I have not slept, guys. Yoni was actually the person I was speaking of. Yoni's not in right now, but I believe he should be playing during the season at some point.
But yeah, no, so, I mean, like, between these comps, I mean, early push in from the Samira, almost what you'd expect. You don't really want to be sitting up too far as Vayne right now. I think that level 2 option from the Leona and the Samira is going to be very dangerous. And just looking at these early jungle clears, obviously the gank going awry top lane, flash burnt from K1. Just having to walk away there. But that's a repeat gank option. That's somewhere we can go back to, and we're just very fast clear from the Trundle, skipping some camps. And you know, you think that might have a gank mid lane, might go for the invade, might for a repeat top. But Kayn now has free reign over your jungle. That's Raptors up. Kayn takes those in about 0.8 of a second. It is not a difficult camp for him to take down. If you're leaving those open, you're just giving yourself the chance to be put behind. But put behind is top lane right now. K1 trying to find his way out of here with no flash. He's trying to fight back against the Trundle, and no, in out just takes the bite, and immediately taking the bite mid lane. Hisme just living through that ignite barely, but is going to be forced out to recall, and it just mid and top sides of the map not looking too good right now.
Very interesting game by Trundle, by the way. He actually doesn't go. Oh,
hook lands bot side. Engage starting to be found. It's like neither team wants to commit at the moment. Raw Dog Ross getting that hit. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Get that PTA proc.
Alright, both junglers are going to be splitting Scuttle Crabs right now. Oh.
Immediately fought back from Hisme, and looking at the fight top lane, it's just there's non-stop action between these two teams. You were talking about how aggressive Asphalt was going to play, but it looks like they're being matched at the moment. Just that invade that we were talking about right now from the Kayn.
Great gank by Trundle without this Jace flash. He might be dead here.
He doesn't commit, taking the pink ward. Okay. I feel like he could have still ran up and got that maybe, but no, just committed the pink. Just committed the pink.
Alright, Kayn is one of those champions in the jungle, by the way, where their first gank is really, really important. Similar to like a Twisted Fate, his first ulti gank that he does. is really important for really the entire game. See if he gets behind or ahead from that. Kayn is a champion that you need to hopefully get a kill or a lot of damage with your first gank because of how his passive works. You get more passive stacks earlier into the game.
Just start to reduce that timer for your power spike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get yourself rolling as early as possible. And we talked about the range disadvantage that you have bot lane. 50 range, obviously nothing to be scoffed at. I mean, this Trundle's going to be nothing to be scoffed at in a second because they haven't been able to get the poke down, and now the health bar disadvantage is nominal. Gua trying to go in, goes down to Rodog Ross, and that's an early kill onto Vayne. That's important. Onbo doesn't look like he's going to be finding his way out of here either. And that's just going to be a free kill given over to the Vayne and the CS. And that's that. And now we're looking at a dragon setup, almost certainly here.
This right here, I'm going to talk about this because every single TAS game that I cast, their bot lane does this every single time, where they overextend and then die to a gank that they should not have died to.
It's just been pushed up for a long time, and there was wards on that Samir Ward trinket and just wasn't put down. And now Vichray looks like he's about to be put down by this Trundle flashing over the wall. Trying to find his way out now 3v3, but they just don't have the health bars. Astro trying to find a way back in. Obviously, Silas starting to rotate. Condemn goes down. Just the Kayn is so low, and now this is made into a new 3v3. Nice. Onbo, unfortunately, picking up the kill there, but it's still a kill over. Now, flash burn from Rodog. Are they going to be able to get that kill? They should be able to. One more Q from the Samira. No, the auto attack for the shutdown does grab the Zenith Blade, and the flash over the wall, but are they going to be able to finish him off before he gets into turret range? No, but now there's the availability for that dragon, and that is an important time to find a fight because they do not lose this dragon. Now they can put themselves ahead on those soul points.
Tell me, Escape, do you watch any sports? Like traditional sport?
I do.
Okay. So what they say is the most susceptible time to getting scored on is right after you score. Yes. Which is exactly what TAS does in general. The most susceptible time for you to die while facing TAS is after you kill TAS, because they're going to just tilt, come back and try to murder you, which is what you saw happen right there. Pushing advantages against TAS is very you gotta be smart with it, because I honestly, like, they are the solo QS team. They're going to end.
The hardest point lead to keep, I believe, is a 2-point lead as it goes, and that was 2 consecutively good plays. But speaking of a good play, a flash top lane from Gouch, just taking that solo kill on the Malphite. Quad longsword picked up from that Jace, and the top lane looks like it's going to start to become a problem. Those early ganks from Trundle, leaving him without flash. And that Trundle now looking for the mid lane gank. There's no flash on this Silas. Trying to find his way out. Looks like he's going to be able to find this turn onto the Trundle. Just walking away.
Inoucho Mouth has done, what, 3 or 4 ganks at the moment?
Oh, at least. There's been 3 top lane, the 1 bot lane. I think that's 5 mid. Like,
he's really neglecting his camp in general. He's actually a level behind this Kayn right now. I think maybe a level and a half, actually.
Yeah. And the success rate on those ganks is not necessarily enough to justify that. Obviously, putting Malphite ahead, putting Jace behind. Significant, not nothing, but look at this. We still have a trade coming back. Like, the Jace is still capable. The Jace is not going to be out of the game from this. The farm's going to continue to build up. That's not going to be it. But you have that gank mid lane. Obviously, the gank bot lane is good, but you can't afford to be down 30 CS at 7 minutes in the jungle, especially to a Kayn, who can take over this mid game when he gets his evolution, or his transformation, and you just have to be the one to stop him now. You're stuck on that Trundle. All you have is the Q. You're not really denying too much tank stats in those mid-game fights. Could start to run into problems. Vichray now on the Rift Herald. With the top
interesting gank. There's going to be probably a bot gank here, and they're going to trade it for the Rift Herald, which is good. If Trundle gets his gank here, alright.
Again, the ward was seen, but it was too late. The re-engage from Guan now. Back in the exact same spot as last time. The pillar goes down, but this time Onbo has learned. And he walks away and denies the second kill away from Rodog. That is 3-1 on that Vayne. Obviously down that little bit of farm, but doesn't matter. Bot lane lead is so big.
The bot lane for TAS doesn't understand wave management. They continue to die from permanent pushing for literally no reason. They are an aggressive lane in the bot lane with Samir and Leona, as we said, right when they locked in. This is a really aggressive lane. You are not supposed to be permanent pushing with a really aggressive lane. You wanted to actually sit around your tower so that you can all in with these engages.
You can deny some CS and you have some room to chase down the enemy, but they're the only ones getting chased at this moment. There goes the blue buff now. There's the Smite evolution finally from the Trundle. And they're almost setting up for Dragon right now, but it's not available. Instead, they're setting up for a gank mid lane. Big fight between Hisme and Fro. realizing the imminent approach of Fraud
Faggot.
Squad, but no, just walks out of the Rumble ulti, gives him the thumbs up.
What I will always give about TAS, by the way, they're disrespectful. I love how they play. They always throw up these emotes and these really disrespectful plays that I love to watch, especially as a viewer. I just love to watch, classic disrespect.
You like to see the attitude come through the gameplay. Obviously, we can't hear the comms, but it's nice to see these players' attitudes come through during the game. We like to see that aggression, that kind of rebound coming back from a kill. But do we have room at the moment to start to make these plays? Obviously, only down 200 gold at the moment, which is mostly down to the fact that the Kayn is just so out farming Trundle.
Yes.
Obviously there's CS leads in other parts of the map, but that is so significant. And Kayn can be really scary when he's ahead. He's going to pick up 2 plates on this Rift Herald. He's going to start to pick up his items, looking like we're looking Gore Drinker into tier here, so probably Muramana, unless there's something that I don't know about.
Yeah, he goes Muramana, yeah.
Yeah, but we're not like... The Trundle has done stuff, has gotten bot lane ahead, has gotten top lane ahead, but now there's just a hole in the jungle, and I don't feel like behind is enough to really equal how out of this game Trundle feels right now. Unless he's ganking, he's not getting gold, he's not going to be doing damage, he's not going to be a front line. Obviously, he can take those stats. But
like, look at this level advantage, by the way. With the 6 and 7 at 11 minutes, I think it's a level and a half ahead for this Kayn. And Kayn's best thing about Kayn in general, the way as champion works, is we're going to see a fight here in the mid lane.
No, just going to walk out of there. The big rotation there. Good rotation from the bot lane of Fraud Squad, but nothing doing. Just going to set up some dragon. Set up some vision around dragon. Dragon spawning just now.
Alright, very smart. Put the Rift Herald mid, and then hopefully you fight over this dragon. If you can get that, you can
immediately going in your mouth. But I don't think that there's any damage from Trey yet. Obviously, I was talking about he's going to be ahead once he gets that transformation, but he's not there yet. The exhaust goes down, burning that flash, but that Trundle ulti is just going to be the death of him, going down to in your mouth. But like, now you've lost your jungler. Now you're giving over that dragon, and obviously they have the 1 dragon point, so maybe they can afford to give that over. But again, we just don't have the transformation for Kayn yet. I don't know how long he is before he's going to be getting that, but that's their win con right now, or not necessarily the win con, but their way to swing this game back, and instead, gold swings over into the favor of FS. Ooh, engage top lane, good flash behind. Another tower shot comes in now. How long till EQ? Doesn't matter. Hismay is there with the ulti. Great roam up to top lane. TP still available for Hismay. And we're going to catch the replay on that. Obviously, just taking the dragon.
So what Chase does, of course, he hits him back after taking the damage with the tower. You get the tower shot. Very smart by him, but not trying to permit it. We have Hismay with this E4 to get the ulti down, steal the Malphite ulti, and he's dead from that point on after he used ulti to get out.
Just really good forward thinking there, just to say, like, okay, we know how many people they have bot side, but hold on, engage onto Table Davis. Was there a recall from the Vayne? No, she's still there, just taking this engage.
You can win this. You have the minions just bopping on them.
Yeah, 3 for 2. Flash still available on the Leonis. Flash still available on the Samira. The ulti has to be up by now. Looks like they're going to calmly walk away, and maybe that they've caught the Rumble in the jungle. There's the TP down. We said that was available from Sylas. Just the pillar to disengage here. That might be enough. We do still have that flash on Leona. We do still have that flash on Samira, but I don't think we're going to see anything. But anyway, that roam top lane, just smart to say, okay, they have 4 people bot side. I know that this Malphite's by himself, and he's probably not paying attention right now. He probably thinks, okay, we're trying to shuffle around mid lane. We're trying to get more gold. No, I'm coming for you this moment. And what do you do?
We talked about this bit in the lounge, I believe. I thought that TAS was going to win this game, and we thought that TAS would be better against the newer teams and teams that are really unfamiliar with their playstyle, just because they play so aggressive. They play so solo queue, and they force teams to either play like solo queue, which is their strength, or they force you to play macro, which is one of the problems with players around this elo, is that their macro is usually worse than their fingers.
Yep.
And so far, FS is playing into their game, where it's just perma skirmish, perma macro, zero really sense to what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah, just taking the fight before the setup type of thing. Like the dragon comes off of the fight. They're not necessarily there because they're setting up for dragon. They were looking for a pick mid. But yeah, no, we know that TAS can kind of thrive in those scenarios, and it would be interesting to see if they start to pick this up. Now, obviously, this game feels like it's been very like one-sided. A lot of these plays have felt like they're on the one side, but the comeback plays have been important. There is still a not significant at all, but there is still a gold lead in favor of TAS.
Which is really surprising since they're down in kills.
Exactly, yeah, they're down in kills. It feels like they're down in objectives, but there's those plates mids that have gone down. I believe there was at least one plate bot side. And just the farm numbers they're keeping up and ahead. We see 20 CS diff basically bot side. Yeah, we see gold diff in favor of Malphite top side, but other than that, it's about what you'd expect. There's an advantage everywhere else, and just off of that, they're keeping it more than even, 1.1 ahead.
So if you're FS right now, of course, this is the
There
first. We got the transformation, which is huge. We need this Kayn to invade and really start taking from this Trundle, who's down 30 CS, who's been down 30 CS for, I would say, a good 6 or 7 minutes now. We get the engage here.
Engage bot side, they don't have anybody there, but they don't know where that Kayn is, so they have to respect it. Hismay now missing the chain. Now is he going to be able to make his way away from that run, the rumble? Yes, going for the re-engage. Ignite down, there's no healing available for Hismay. And the solo kill for Fro Murphy.
I really feel like I'm watching like my solo queue teammates play the game, and I'm just not a part of it. It's just like if you're Hismay right there, who I love watching him play. Like I think Hismay is actually one of the more controlled players in TAS. He just, why even do that? Like,
yeah, there's no reason to force a solo kill unless you know you're gonna get it, and that's one of those, like, that was just a trade. You know, put yourself in a rough position. He has flash up, he can get out of there if he needs to, but no, it goes back in. And you're playing in a team. There's no reason to just not say, okay, well, hold on, I have a good fight here. Can you come mid? You know, he's on his way there. He's in his blue side jungle. He's just wait, 10 or so seconds, and that fight goes way better. But instead, Herald goes down mid. That turret's 100% going down. And now Betray going in 1v2. This lack of coordination that we were just talking about. Again, Hismay here in a few seconds, popping the ulti, trying to get out of here. There's no turret there anymore. No ulti on the Rumble. Just going to be able to walk away. But again, why take that fight? Fight top lane now. K1, does he have a way out of here? No, taking the re-engage, but there's nothing doing. There's no lifesteal. We go back and watch this play. K1 was the initiator, pushes him back into the minions.
He just doesn't have the damage from this point on. He's just too far behind. Of course, with this engage ulti, once you get that initial damage off, Jayce is more of a poke champion who can go in all in, but you want to poke him first before you go in all in.
Yeah, and that was full health.
It's full health. You're just not going to kill this Malphite when he's that far ahead. He's staffing. Of course, he has how much? He has 170 armor at the moment.
170 with passive, yeah. But the Cyrilda's first pickup on the items. Now, obviously, the armor penetration is nice, but it's not like lethality's doing nothing for you. It just feels like a really strange first item pickup, especially when you're behind. Like, you don't want to be sacrificing your stats if you don't need to. It just doesn't feel right to me.
All right, Hismay, because he decided to try fighting against minions and trying to solo kill their Rumble. Now will not have a tower, so he's going to be always susceptible to ganks. A big problem with losing your mid tower so early is that theoretically you should be losing the push for most times when it comes to dragon fights and baron fights and these kind of things. You of course want to push mid before you do this. As we're going to see Hismay
dragon fights, we see Hismay get caught out, has to burn that flash, but the Rumble ulti also goes down. Now obviously that flash is going to be more important long term, but short term that Rumble ulti being down is going to matter for this fight. We see the TP up from both top laners. Raw Dog's kind of out of position at the moment. Guwatch just trying to find his way onto that turret, get some gold down. This dragon hasn't been started yet, so maybe you can get away with that.
And the top laners, we gotta watch for this TP. Here comes Malphite TP. It's gonna be a flank right
for the flank, and now they're all clumped up between the pillar. Malphite ulti comes in, the Samira ulti to retaliate, but there's no damage coming down yet. I say that. Raw Dog goes down to the Kayn. 1v4 on the backline, almost picks up the Malphite. K1 onto the backline again. Just repeat one at a time. Now Gua and Onbo, the only two left. Gua trying to find a way back in with his ulti, but he's off cooldown. He gets the reset, but that's not going to happen. Triple kill over to that Trundle that we were just saying wouldn't be able to do anything in team fights, and here he is cleaning up this first big team fight over the third dragon.
I said right before this fight was going to happen, it's all about these top lane TPs, and we got this secret ward right there. If you can see in your bottom right, as we see the Rumble waste his ulti, which is huge, as you said. There's going to be this TP right here, this TP ward right here, as Malphite gets the push, and he gets the TP right when they clump up, which is huge. And then Jayce has a very, very late TP. I don't know why he TP'd so late. I guess he was scared to
maybe he was worried
lose this
about
much minions.
Yeah.
And then he used his Hammer Slam, which is a big problem, because you could have canceled the TP with that.
See this pillar to come down and group them all together. Now we have to see flashes burnt to get out of this Malphite ulti.
Oh, did Gua? I think Gua actually escaped that ulti. That was very smart by Gua. And we're just a split team fight. We really need the Kayn to do way more here. He's going to kill the Vayne, which is huge, but...
and it's so unfortunate that Gua was actually zoned off by that ulti and stuck on that pillar, because there was such a nice return clump there from FS to just get that Samira ulti on top of, but it couldn't happen. There was no way in dealing with that Malphite, and instead of Kayn being there to help like alleviate the damage, or like just give some way in for Gua, no, it goes in, gets the split, obviously does pick up those kills. But now look where we are, picking up Dragon. This is a big step in the right direction for them, picking up this Cloud Soul, and now this gold lead, magically still on the even point. I have no idea.
How is that possible?
Yeah, it has to be just on the individual. Obviously, it was 40 CS diff bot lane. They picked up that tower. They did get a lot of plates. We saw plates going mid lane over to the side of TAS, but it doesn't feel like this. Yeah, it's
unexcusable. Like,
it really doesn't feel like this lead should be as well. This lead, there's no lead. There should be a lead right now. It's 13-7. You guys are cleaning up a lot of kills. Obviously, your Vayne has been zoned off, but you've had the Herald, you've had towers. Like, why? Where's this? Like, towers are even. I have no idea how TS is making this happen, but. Is it enough? You're playing into a composition that does scale better than you, and I think being even right now isn't necessarily what you want. I think that Vayne and Rumble is just going to do better. You're gonna have a very hard time breaking that Malphite in the later stages of the game. They have a very good front line. You're not gonna have the tankiness because you've only got one tank and they've got a Trundle beating that down. You want to be doing more right now if you're TAS.
See, let me rub my magical ball real quick, okay? I'm going to predict that there will be a top lane gank within the next... Okay, maybe not anymore, but there should be a top lane gank because K1ZZ is actually... Well, he was slow pushing a huge wave into Malphite. I think Malphite, for some reason, decided to not take the freeze, which was a mistake. I guess my ball must have rolled out come back later. Ask me later, dude.
Anyway, yeah, ask again later, indeed. Level diff top lane, which is honestly, like, I don't know, looking at Malphite Jace, you don't expect this. Obviously, there's been so much more pressure. Might see an engage here, might see a catch in the river. We see the mid laners have made their way down to bot lane, just taking those side waves. Obviously, tower down, so I mean, we could see some pressure going on to Fro. Just lack of protection there, but no, his mate just taking the recall.
Side of FS, who's a new team to FWF, this is pretty, if they can manage to win this game, it's actually a pretty big win for them. Of course, TAS has not played great in Season 3. No, they did not live up to their Season 2 standards, but they were a finalist in Season 2.
Which is nothing to laugh at.
Yeah, and if you can beat TAS, really at their own style of play, because really these are skirmishes after skirmishes. Not much macro in a sense.
Ooh, good flash.
Nice flash.
K1, can he get the return? I don't really think he wins this fight, though. Just trying to take the return damage again, just trying to go back in. I don't think he can win this. I think there's the regen from the Malphite. I think he's obviously still got that corrupting pot. There's so much armor, and the Bramble's just going to be dealing damage to K1. I don't think that he wants to take that. But yeah, as you were saying, that TAS most likely will crush any team that doesn't have the same level of coordination or doesn't feel strong enough in these lanes. I think this is a team that is coordinated. These guys seem to be working relatively well together. They seem to be dealing with the pressure that TAS is going to come out, and that either comes from a lot of preparation or just feeling comfortable working with each other. They know what they need to work with. We've seen solo kills in multiple lanes. The pressure's been really good from the Trundle so far, and honestly, even though the gold lead literally doesn't show it, I've felt very, very positive for Fraud Squad so far.
The one thing they need to take away from this game is they have to CS better. Like I just talked about earlier, Malphite didn't do proper lane management. Is there gonna be a fight here, or is Fro Murphy's just disrespecting? He's saying, "What's up with it?" Like, I'm gonna walk as close as possible to you, Samira, and I'm going to do nothing about it. I wish he dropped an emote right there. Maybe an FFO. If that was me, I dropped the FFO for my teammates just so they know what just happened. But Fraud Squad, the biggest takeaway from this game is they need to learn how to CS a little bit better. Of course, if they can manage about this game, which is huge, don't understand. Of course, you want to take the win in the first week. Going 1-0 is really big for your morale and your mental in general, which is cannot be understated.
It does so much more for your mental than it does for your scoreboard. It's like not representative unless you are the people going 1-0 off of day one. It means so much.
And of course, the mental in Heroic in the past, now in the Luna Helios leagues, and people at these ranks have always been a lot better than better players. I think the biggest problem with, better players in the Diamond and Master tier is that their mental is just horrible because they get to a point where they realize that they're good at the game and they know how it should be played. But when it doesn't go that way, they just want to FF15. Speaking from experience, which is just me. To be fair.
And it can be really difficult when you've gone so far up that mountain to acknowledge that there's a little bit left sometimes. These players, you know, they've got to know they've got a lot more to learn. They've got a lot more to improve at, and it's easier to keep your head up and know like, okay, well, these mistakes I can learn from them, right? They don't feel in vain.
Oh, it's gonna be huge right here. This gonna be QW maybe? Nope.
No,
Okay.
it doesn't take it. Just playing passive. I think that they did have the numbers advantage there. If they wanted to take it, the Hisme would have been faster on the rotation. But I actually like the fact that TAS is just slowing the game down right now, because as we've acknowledged, they're winning on CS, they're winning on like just passive gold generation. We were saying that there was a 100 gold lead. Obviously, this is small numbers, but in the last 5 minutes, they swung it back 600 just passively, no kills, just passively swung it back. And if you can do that, if you can swing it, you know, 600 gold for 5, like almost 120 gold a minute, then you know, don't do anything for 20 minutes. That's fine. Just get ahead.
Utility monster. UBT utility monster. Josh is going.
Hold on. Here. Engage onto Onbo, getting stuck in there by the Nautilus, and immediately just engage onto 2 people. The Malphite ulti landing on top of Hisme, going low. Gua still hasn't stacked up his ultimate on the backline. Betray trying to get damage down. There's so many low members on that backline. Kiz trying to pick up something, but somehow there's 2 bodies from either side on still alive. Picked up the kill now, and we were talking about that gradual gold swing. Well, that was a lot faster. 1.5 over to the hands of TAS.
As plays these skirmishes, these weird fights, and FS, if they would have listened to the lounge, would have heard us talk about this. They fade very, very solo queue. Look, there's little like teamwork in general, unless besides Hisme and Gua, and they have a split team fight where the mid and AD carry together on both sides, and then the top jungle and support are fighting each other.
And it's so desynchronized too, because if you have Vayne there, then maybe you can get some more damage down. Vayne still has flash, she can get in there, she can dodge stuff. But instead, Rumble just goes down, and this is Dragon over to the side of TAS.
TAS is a team that is horrible one behind, but pretty good when they're ahead, because they will just look at you and say, yo, what's up with it? And they'll just fight. So,
and they don't seem to be getting behind this game. They don't seem to be getting behind this game, even though we keep seeing these repeated scenarios where like they should be losing gold, they should be losing map pressure, there should be way more going over. It just either the lack of macro or just lack of CSing or whatever it might be. FS has not been able to push these leads as much as they probably could have. Like not even just like, you know, if you're playing perfectly, obviously nobody's gonna play these situations perfectly. That's not what we're expecting here. This is platinum below. But you could play these better, and I know that these guys could play this better because they've started to make rotations. Maybe they're just late, but they're just missing CS. They're putting themselves behind. And you were saying, TS can't play from behind, you know, but they haven't been. There hasn't been a situation in this game where they've really been notably behind, other than maybe the first few minutes. But again, they just got those 2 kills back. And instead, we have a situation where TS has managed to find their way back in this game, even up that dragon count. And that Samir is big now. That Silas has gotten the Zhonya's finishes onto the healing reduction. That's what he needs to try and shut down this Trundle. And what do they have to fight back for? It is the gank in the top lane. He has seen these members, but late reaction. Nice. But no late reaction on the flash there from the Malphite. But does he have a way out of here? Trundle blocking the the hook there from Nautilus, but nothing doing. Going down. Malphite ulti, obviously. Malphite ulti. Nautilus ulti, not going to get blocked by that pillar.
Fortunately, good flash by Jace, but I think TAS has great fingers. Yeah, too little, too late. Just smart play by FS so they get a free kill in top lane.
See the ulti actually going down. We see a pause. Interested to know why we have a pause. Sounds like it's a disconnect. But this is going to be quite a moment to reconnect to, as we see Betray just about to find an engage. But yeah, no, I like as you're saying, game up until this point, like it's really, I still think that the scaling advantage goes over to FS. I still think that matters, but the experience, like these guys seem to be FS I'm talking about, but they seem to be experienced working with one another. They don't seem to be experienced working with the meta of FOF. Which is different to your everyday League of Legends. Is going to be different to pro play because obviously there's skill differences, there's playstyle preferences, all this type of stuff. But they don't seem adapted well enough to right now, and they don't seem to be getting all the gold that they could. And it's affecting them because they're, obviously this game has been ridiculously even, but they are down right now.
I agree with that, but no matter how this game goes for FS, this is a huge confidence boost. Again, I've talked about this before. TAS is a Season 2 finalist. They did not do great last year, no, but that cannot be understated how good they were in Season 2. They actually looked great. One of the things about TAS in general, which is great for FS to learn, is I thought TAS actually CS pretty good for a team that, perma just goes. They actually CS pretty good, especially in Season 2 where they had during semifinals in general, they had over perfect CS in a lot of their champions, like Hisme and Gua actually had perfect CS in a lot of their games. And FS, the biggest problem why this gold lead is so close is because their CS is lacking. And now Mouth has had bad CS with these permanent ganking, which is fine. I understand that this is more of a thing that is because you're still new as a team, that you're going to try to as a jungler try to give to your team and try to be as supportive as we possibly can. Of course, this is a connection issue. I swear Kane's lagging, bro. I swear. It's totally not DC. I would have DC'd if I missed that as well. W, Q, and another Q. This one here is what you call blue balls, by the way, where we're going to see a fight, and we're promised something really good, and maybe we won't get it,
At the moment, we just have to sit, wait, and find out. But yeah, no, the Trundle, as effective as he's been, 7-2 matters. But let's not even put him on 10 CS per minute. Let's put him on 7. Let's average him out to about 180 or 200 range right now. That's more than a full item. Imagine if this Trundle has 3 items right now, right? A lot of this kill gold and assist gold did not come out of those ganks. There was a lot of ganks and a lot of time he's missing gold. I say that, but coming back into a B-Tray. Matt is taking us off the screen, but we do see V-Tray turning this fight somehow. We closed our eyes to see him at the lowest HP and come back to see health swing. As we do see some replay bugs at the moment. We're trying to sort them out, and then we can get you guys back to that fight. But we did turn away from that fight to see a very low HP Kane, and it's really surprising to come back there and see he's healed all that health back. I guess that's what happens when you don't have that ignited bit available. But yeah,
Red King heals a lot, especially with Gore's Drinker. It's really huge actually with how much he can heal you. It actually cannot be understate how much it is. I think that we're going to get a slight replay backwards so we can see this play again. Of course, this is connection issues. That's why we're having a bit of these difficulties. It's not any production this time around, and very smart by Kane. I'm really surprised he actually won that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
really guilty by Phil Murphy.
It's hard to know because obviously I don't think he wins this fight if the ignite's up. I think that your healing gets cut so much, and obviously we saw how low B-Tray was. But ignite isn't available. We see the damage come in, and we looked away right here, and this fight looks like a done deal. But Kane pops out with so much extra HP.
Wow, was that 825 heal off one ulti?
It must have been. That was insane. But insane on the other side is the reactions from FS to go straight onto that Baron. Now this is 3 people, obviously 4 available for. Excuse me, no, the solo kill top lane, but 3v4 available right now. I think this is absolutely the right call. Just burning that down. You have the Kraken Slayer done on the Vayne, and there's no looking back. Baron down. FS walks away unscathed.
This is what I'd like to see from a new team. Okay, a lot of new teams in general would panic from seeing their mid laner die for free, essentially. But they relax. They realize, hey, we have Vayne with Rageblade, and Kraken Slayer. Vayne's going to destroy Barons very, very quickly. You have Trundle who kills Barons pretty quickly, and they go and they take it from the cross map play, which is really, really huge. Now, that Kane play is actually in. You should not be bot lane there, by the way, but I'm going to focus on the positives a bit before I get fired on my first day back from being hired again.
It matters a lot, you're playing, you get that kill bot lane and it's okay, but if you don't have the vision control set up top lane, it's not something you necessarily think about in a jungler, right? Yep. But I think that comes back to that solo queue mindset that you're talking about. Maybe there's that lack of communication or just maybe a lack of knowledge that it's okay, you're playing more than just Kane right now. You're playing jungle. You need to be available for these objectives. You need to have the smite ready for this stuff. And your job is more important than just getting a pick on bot lane right now. And as a result, there's a Baron buff that goes over, and we'll see how much FFs can do with it. Probably breaking the outer line, I'd imagine, at least. Maybe picking up a kill on the Jace. Now Hisme. Only armor on this Trundle for the moment, so we're expecting Silas to deal a lot of damage. However, he is auto-attacking, so he's going to have that healing reduction. Just hard to break this mountain. Ultimate available for both of them. There's the ultimate down. Great usage. I think you got a little bit of an extra push from the edge of the wall there, and I think that Gouch might just be out of here. No flash from Hisme. Getting that kill now doesn't matter. We're talking about these cross-map plays. Here goes FS on the bottom side of the map. They're going to take away this jungle. They're going to pressure this turret. And who's here to defend? We've got two people. We've got Kiz, who is insurmountably behind at the moment. And we have Betray, who cannot take this 1v4.
They have a TP ward. It's a little far, but let's see if they try to risk it. Of course, Dragon's up. Very smart reset by FS. Let's see if we can get him here.
Does he get the cancel? No. And instead, Gua's the one that's pulling off the inner turret pick. This is interesting. That now, late reaction, maybe to say, like, okay, we've got Dragon coming out. Maybe we don't want to be making the spot lane play right now. But, you know, they did pick up the one turret, but inner tower over just the mirror. That's a lot of gold in hand, but she's not going to have the chance to reset before this Baron. Or, excuse me, before Dragon. And this gives over soul point. This gives over the pressure for the next 5 minutes of the game. Whoever grabs this Dragon is going to be the one with priority. And instead of going with this Dragon, they realize, hey, we've got 25 seconds till it's up. We have a Baron. We're going to walk down mid lane.
Escape, as the darling of the Helios League and the fellow AD carry player, what do you think about this this collector buy from Gua? I would have probably went Lord Dominic's instead, which is because they have 3 tanks with Malphite, they have the Trundle and the Nautilus. I'm very interested to see if that's more important, or is you gonna go Collector into Lord Dominic's? Interesting.
That's interesting. I don't know. I think as Samira, it's kind of hard to designate yourself as the one who's going to be the tank killer, but right now they're focusing on the Dragon. TP comes in. I don't know if it was necessary, but maybe they're looking for the follow-up fight. Now, Trundle going straight forward onto Gua, getting hit by that ultimate. The Samira's getting so low, immediately removed from the fight. K1 onto the backline with Hisme now. They have to try and take this fight 3v4. Obviously, Malphite TP did complete. K1 going down. Now, another kill, I believe, onto the Vayne, which is actually quite significant because now they're starting to lack damage. The damage coming in from Hisme, and this Silas is starting to hit his breaking point along with this Kayn. We were talking about this mid-game power that they're going to have available. Obviously, Samira doesn't get to come out, but there's so much additional. And I think that off of that Dragon take, with the lack of Baron buff, TAS is going to actually be able to get some stuff. No, searching for the Rumble on the kill. Instead, maybe dropping some of that pressure. Those death timers are not long enough to maybe get something out of this, but yeah.
FS finally executed their comp probably with this with the ulti stacking, with the Rumble, the Trundle Pillar, of course, which slows you and knocks you up a bit, with the Trundle lockdown and the Rumble ulti with the Malphite engage, and I think they insta-killed Gua, actually. The problem is they have 0 healing reduction. Now they finally got healing reduction on the Vayne for this Silas and Kayn, who all they do is heal. Silas is finally coming online, and Kayn, who has 4 melee champions for him to heal off of, is going to be huge. You really need to watch this Kayn and Silas right now. Gua does do a bunch of damage, and he is Samira, and you know you have the perma tilt, because Samir is the Katarina AD carry player, but
yeah, and you have to wonder. You have to wonder
now
why this healing reduction is only coming out now. You're looking at Samira, who is almost the poster child of shield bow. You're looking at Silas, who's just known for how much he can heal. Again, Red Kayn, just known for turning a health bar into 3. And I have to wonder why they've been relying on Bramble so far, but now they're relying on the Rumble ulti. Gua goes very low. Onbo, the one taking the brunt of it now. And then the disengage, but there's 2 TPs in the mid lane. Now Hisme caught up position with K1, getting chased down by the entirety of FS. Hisme finding that engage, going into Zhonya's. Maybe they're looking for somebody to get the team back in. K1 obviously does not have that immediate damage output, but now they're back. Now the entirety of TAS is here, but it doesn't matter because Malphite has arrived, getting that ultimate. Immediately Hisme goes down, another kill onto Gua, and Beatrate's gonna just try and find his way out of there. This is a big 3 for 0, as now they're gonna push on mid and hip.
We talked about in and outro Mouth, his problem with his farming, but his pillars, by the way, in these past 2 team fights have been great.
Godlike.
Yeah. Fantastic by him. I think this might just be game here. I don't think they close out. I don't know how they beat them here. Gua has 20 minutes? Okay, they're going to take the safer route, which is more effective. There's going to be a Baron up in right now.
Yeah, no reason not to turn onto this Baron or turn onto this top lane turret. I think they have the power to win another team fight now, pick up some extra gold, secure that team fight win, secure that Baron, secure the game. I like the kind of methodical thinking here. This is coming from RLS, the team that can't end a game. But I like that they're taking their time with this and they're not rushing. It's really easy to take a team fight win like that and get a bit excited and just be like, oh, okay, well, now we can end, But you don't have to yet. You've got this Baron coming up, and now they haven't finished their recalls. Betray's starting to chase them down.
TAS plays this right. They can win the game off this right here. If they can stop their backs and make it so that it's delayed, and they can just rush his Baron right here, hopefully get it down quickly. If unfortunately Samir is not a perfect Baron killer, he actually kills it pretty slow, but Chase does fine and Kane does fine. But
and I don't think they're gonna take it.
They get the timing.
I think the Trundle has already finished his recall. He's back now, and obviously they can take it in a 1v5. But you know, K1 had to recall. The Samira has been mid, along with the Hisme has been mid. Gua just not finding those rotations yet. And now they're just taking the mid wave and maybe rotating down for this dragon that's up in a minute. Now this is Soul Point available for FS.
You know what this feels like, Mr. Escape? This feels like an RLS game. The inability to close out. What is happening here?
It's just no immediate pressure, no immediate decision making now. I still put the favor on the side of FS right now. I still think that, you know, they made the right call to just back off, go for Baron, but they haven't yet. There's no wards down. They've swept them by now. I'm pretty sure their sweepers are on cooldown. They can see the Sylas clearing mid. Now they saw Kane. Now they saw Samira. Just take it. But no, rotating down to Dragon. Maybe they want to play around Soul Point. I think by now, as FS, on that reset, you could have taken Baron. You have the Vayne, who has this insane amount of shred power. Nautilus, same way. Honestly, Rumble can do the same. They could have taken that Baron by now, and they could have either A, pressed in, taken another inhib, especially topside, which would give this Dragon for free, or they could have, like, just taken the free rotation, gone to Dragon with the bonus stats they have from Baron. Instead, now they're out of position for Dragon.
So there's another problem with FS that we've seen so
Where's
far.
Raw Dog?
Perfect.
Where's Raw Dog? K1 now finding immediately the pick onto now. Gua not finding the healing immediately, but already double kill down. We know Hisme is going to be a big problem. K1 Betray. K1 getting the kill there. Now it's 2v2. But I don't think they can win this. It's the 2v2 of the Malphite and the Rumble. I'm wrong. Rumble does so much damage with that Flame Spitter. And double kill over to Couch. What a chaotic team fight.
This is TAS in a nutshell.
These team fights are consistently after the objective. Objective taken, now we engage. Normally these fights are going to happen before the objective, over the objective. These guys are fighting for the sake of fighting. And you have to love the commitment to that. But we lose Raw Dog immediately. Now is when the fight should happen to me. This is when they should be going.
Yeah, Raw Dog's out there chasing down Tail, I think. I'm not sure what he's doing. There's going to engage right here. Pretty interesting. You go completely engage on the on the Trundle. Use everything. Disgusting Rumble ulti, by the way, which gets on all 5 members. I think he did thousands of damage that fight. I want to see how much Rumble damage did right there. Then they go down on Raw Dog Ross. They're going to clap his cheeks right here. And then K1C and Kane, who's just healing so much. And we see Rumble, very smart. He gets the Q overheat Flame Spitter, which does so much damage. And he's dead.
It's just one of those fights that swings back and forth. It's really hard to call these fights because the champions just haven't been. Not everyone's playing to their minimum or their maximum right now. It seems that everybody's pulling out different levels in each of these team fights. We're seeing different amounts come out from each of them. They're all playing these team fights by ear, and it's just so surprising. But again, like we said, priority to FS. They're taking this bot inhib turret. They're gonna back off before the respawn of the Leona. I think they probably could have dealt with that, but taking it safe again. Didn't get the dragon, so we're still on Soul Point, and now we should see the rotate to Baron.
We didn't get the opportunity to really talk about the draft much, but I think FS's draft is way better in general, actually. They have, of course, they have the Rumble, Trundle, Malphite that is actually really good, of course, because Rumble can ult. Well, you saw last team fight, which is was incredible. I actually do not think for teams in the future, I do not give Phil Murphy this Rumble, by the way. His Rumble has been by far the best person in the entire team. I think that he's the MVP so far of this game.
Yeah, and we know they want to prioritize it. We called out how unsafe it is to pick that into a lane. I think grabbing Rumble like that is super dangerous. Now, obviously, you have the flex of Solar Flare goes wide. I'm surprised that was that hard of an engage. You don't have your team here there yet. But yeah, first picking that Rumble, they clearly know it's good. And they're showing it right now. This is an early point in the season to say, hey, this is what we want. You know? So I think teams are going to have to react to that in the future and say, you know, we're not going to give that Rumble away that easy, but maybe they've got other priority picks they're worried about. But I think right now, the only thing that TAS has to worry about is this Baron.
Of course, Rumble mid, by the way, I'm sure you're familiar with it. I'm familiar with both of us playing in the Mythic League. Rumble mid was such a huge priority in the Mythic, as we're going to see a team fight right here.
Immediately the engage. Now we see Raw Dog on the backline. Just a beautiful engage from the Malphite ulti. Raw Dog on the backline, just getting those free hits. Pop out from Betray, and another Malphite ulti from the Silas. Raw Dog still kiting back this fight. He hasn't gone down, let alone the GA. Now the GA pops. K1 while on the backline goes down to the Malphite. Now it is 2v3, but there are no health bars remaining, and there will be no base remaining. The cleanup from FS as they're going to walk in and end the game.
What a team fight. They're juggling TAS right now. They're like red balls right now. We're at the freaking carnival from this game in general, as we all saw. But wow, they juggled them for a huge thing. From Murphy was a late ulti, but it was still important because how much damage that Rumble does in general. We saw a nice pillar again. In actual Mouse, pillars have been gross, of course, because it's perfect for his name, by the way, the pillars in general. As we're going to see FS take their first win in all of FOF. Let's go.
Well done. Yeah, no, and again, like we're talking about the different levels of performances from these players. I think that up until that point, that is easily Raw Dog's best performance in a team fight. I think he got caught a lot. I think he was out of position, didn't get the damage done. But that fight was flawless. Just on the backline, hitting closest targets, shredding through people's health bars. The Malphite ulti cannot be ignored. That was perfect. And the follow-up from Hisme, very, very good. But the fight was lost by that point. There's so much damage. You were talking about that MVP vote right there for the Rumble. Really great job. Malphite damage can't be underwhelming, though. But yeah, like you're saying, Vayne just not pumping out enough damage until that last fight, but just played it phenomenally.
Look at that Rumble damage, by the way. 37,000. A clear MVP for me in this game right here. Malphite, of course, as you said earlier, cannot be understated his importance in this game. Smacking K1CZ, who's actually one of the more consistent members of TAS. The UB boys, I remember, the Cat boys, who everyone loves. Actually, the K1ZZ is one of the best parts about TAS, and I would have to agree with them. But we're going to... I would really like to say that FS, huge win for them.
Yeah.
They beat TAS at their own game.
Just to come into the season like this is so big, but we're going to be going to our intermission, and don't anybody go anywhere. We have a phenomenal game coming up. Looking forward to casting it. Everyone's been looking forward to watching it. Make sure you stay here. We will be right back.
Hello, everyone. Chris Edgeworth here for our second interview of the day. I am joined by the victorious In Out Your Mouth from the Fraud Squad. Our big win for you, our first
Oh, hell
match
yeah.
for you. So, I want to welcome you and your team into the league. Talk to me a little bit, if you could, about this prep for you, joining the league and what it was like getting ready for these first set of matches.
I'll be honest, it was a lot of talking, not from me. I just kind of sit here and listen to Gouch Master, as he wants to be called now, as he's getting older, and Noah, or Fro Murphy. They just kind of chat back and forth, and I sit here and listen, and whenever I have any sort of input, I put it in. But, I mean, we kind of just try to ban them off comfort. That was all we really did. We didn't really care about the jungler because we knew he played a lot of things and was probably going to be comfortable on a lot of different stuff. We knew if we banned out the mid laners, Malzahar, or picked it, we'd probably have a good chance in mid lane. And you could see what Noah did with it. He, from Murphy, popped off. He smurfed.
Yeah, he turbo smurfed it on the Rumble on that one. And
crazy damage.
Yeah, you did talk a little bit about the draft from your point of view. You guys, you picked up the Trundle yourself, which we were talking about a moment ago. This Rumble comes back, and then this is actually, if you look at it, a smorgasbord of returning old champions. You guys just brought out the Ancient Codex and thumb back to the Season 3 Rumble Terror days. And you got Trundle and the Rock, coming out too. Gouch Master, rather.
Yeah. Yes. That's
Gouch
his name.
Master was actually a super rock in that top lane too. I got to tip my hat to him. Dealing with the longsword salesman K1ZZ in the top lane, that was kind of fun. Circling back around, talk to me about your play on this Trundle here and how you felt. Playing out this last team fight as things went on. It got pretty crazy for you folks.
Well, yeah, early game I tried to channel my inner Bwippo and just be around lanes. Didn't really care to engage the Kayn too much. As Gouch Master pointed out before we actually started the match, you don't fight him, he doesn't really do anything, right? If he doesn't transform by 15 minutes, he's barely a champion. So that's kind of what our game plan was. Sit back, let the Vayne scale a little bit, make sure that we don't abandon our lanes. And then later, Raw Dog was getting a little frustrated because obviously he's getting dove. There's a lot of champions here who can get on top of you. But that last team fight, you guys talked about it. He popped off. He had the GA. He's really good on Vayne when he gets the right team fight and when we're not completely abandoning him. Which we get a little hypey sometimes, and we go in for the enemy team a little too hard and leave them in the dust. But luckily in the last team fight, we were able to disengage them pretty well. And obviously on the Trundle, the Leona just becomes kind of irrelevant when she gets ulted. So there was no tanks for him to have to deal with. So we just kind of pushed through them. And the Malphite ult, obviously on top of the Rumble ult, on top of the Trundle pillar, it was just a wombo combo you can't really get out of. Lots of slows, lots of damage. And yeah, we were able to make it all come together in the last team fight.
It really, you used the right words there. It really did all come together for you in a manner, many manners, because it not only, you point out the Leona is just like one of the favorite foods of a Trundle is a Leona with Eclipse activated with 5 ranks.
Oh,
Just delicious.
Oh yeah.
And then, but also, not only did you bait them into the choke while their team was split up, which that more goes to them, I guess, being sort of uncoordinated. But,
a little bit, yeah.
But they come in, you land the perfect Trundle pillar, you get the mini knock-up, which is dope. But then, I mean, there's so many Rumble ultimates in this game. There's a few, I'm not gonna lie, that were a little sus. But there was some crazy, absolutely crazy ones. So I definitely want to give a shout out to Rumble on this one. And then you guys just layered it together. They're in the choke. You hit the pillar. You get the Rumble ult. You get the knock up. It's as simple as that. So
Samira had nowhere to go, to be honest with you. She was caught, and that was the threat we were really focused on. Obviously. Couldn't make the Athamas chains work because I just didn't really think about it too early. I should have probably bought that and put it on her because she was probably the only thing that could could deal damage. But yeah, definitely, like you said, all came together at the end there. Everyone kind of used their abilities properly, and the GA really helped us out.
And make sure to honor GA. You know, honor
Oh,
GA
absolutely,
always.
absolutely.
All right, well, that is it for this interview. But before we step away, I want to thank you so much again, In Out Your Mouth, for joining us for this interview. Do you
problem.
have any final thoughts you'd like to leave with us on the broadcast? Any shouts out or any banter you want to leave with us?
Honestly, shout out to my team. They played a fantastic game. We lose a lot of flex games, and we lose a lot of the what do you call them, clash games. But it was all practice for this one moment. So we made it come together. The boys played real well, and shout out to the other team. They did a good job, but their AD comp was a little bit trash, I gotta say. So maybe a better draft next time would help them out.
Dog, you're barking up the wrong tree with that team. That is not gonna happen. And I say that as someone who bet 10K on them at the beginning of the game. You know, I don't know if you heard that, but these are my
I didn't
boys.
know that.
I go back.
That.
They beat my ass in the first season. So
You should talk to them about that draft. Then I think that would help them out.
I do. You know, it's just the way. That's the way they roll. It's what they said on the broad. It's just the way they roll, man. So, but folks, with that, I do want to highlight we have finally arrived at the final game for our first day of Luna. The one, the only, the matchup you've all been waiting for. It's the Blue Bayou Zoo versus Universal Basic Income. So folks, don't go anywhere. After a quick break, we'll be hopping right into draft with Game 4. So don't go away.
Bye, guys.
I don't know, I was so scared.